going on, everybody? My name is Cameron. Welcome to the channel. This is TGK Gaming, and today I'm going to do something kind of gaming related, but it's more along the line of doing some design work. Now, what I'm going to do is show you how I design battle maps using Inkarnate. It's an app that you can use, or a website you can use online. There's free versions, there's paid versions, and so I'm going to show you now how I use it. So first of all, what you're going to do is you're going to select which type of battle map or map you want to use. There's several different ones. You have the parchment worlds, you have kind of like the overhead views, you have the fantasy regional, you have watercolor cities, watercolor battle maps, and then fantasy battle maps. So far I've been using pretty much just the fantasy battle maps. Click on choose style. I always do the 40 by 30 just to kind of give it the landscape. I leave the resolution, and I think it's 2K right there, so it still looks good, but it's not overloading the computer. Alright, so when you get started, it basically starts you with this generic landscape. I actually kind of like to leave this and then add on top of it. That way it kind of gives some contrast to the layers. So you have the masking tool over here where you can kind of create land masses. You can add or subtract, but because I'm doing a battle map, it's one continuous terrain, and so what I'll do is go down to the brush tool. And so today what I'm going to do is probably something maybe like a snowy battlefield. So I will come in, and first I will click here. You can open the catalog by clicking on that image there. It gives you all the different type of textures. You have carpets, you have wood, you have tile, treasure, bones, rock, everything that you would need. First though, what I'm going to do is I'm going to come in with a little bit of grass. I'm going to come over here and make it as big as I can make it, but then you can change the opacity. I'm going to change it down a little bit, go down to the advanced settings, and make it a little smaller so that the pieces of grass don't look ginormous. So that would be what it looks like, and then I'll just come over and then give it basically a light brushing. So it starts to kind of add the grass texture without totally deleting what's below it. So you kind of get that contrast. It doesn't have to be perfect because grass is not perfect. At least in my yard it is not. So once you do that, you go back up here. You're going to scroll down and find the snow, which is down here. Okay, there we go. So for me, I'm going to do this where it's kind of like a recently starting to fall type snow. Change the opacity a little bit so that it's a little thicker. So once you add that layer, you've got a little bit of snow coming in. Again, it's not super heavy, but it's enough to let you know that it's snowing. Just keep dragging it all around. Any place that you want it thicker, you can kind of just keep going over and over. See how it gets a little thicker. I'm going to do it kind of on the corners here. Let's see. So another thing I want to add is some kind of like dirt road or something right down the middle. So just kind of scroll through till you find what you're looking for. I'm going to use I like this cobblestone kind of road, make it a little bit smaller. Actually, we'll make it a little bit bigger than that. I just kind of start from the corner and work my way down. You can widen it a little bit. So you have that. Now what you can do is you can start adding some items to it. You can click on the castle icon here. That opens up stamps is what they call it. So you open up the catalog by clicking on that top image. You have all sorts of different things. You have several different categories on the side there where it'll tell you, of course, what it will pertain to. So for me, I want to add some forest aspects. So I'll click on forest. You have trees, you have winter trees. So I'll go there, click on the snowy pines, and then just kind of start placing them. Now the cool thing about this is there's 6 different ones, and it will kind of auto circulate through them. so you're not doing the same piece of snowy tree over and over again. It gives you kind of and it will rotate them around a little bit automatically. So just kind of do that to give something there. We'll go back into the catalog and let's see, let's add, they have this thing called Epic Stamps, which shows you kind of different things that you can kind of fit in there. Dragon skulls, Titan hands, like these things that you can kind of mesh into the ground to like look like somebody died there a long time ago and the ground is, you know, risen up around it. So there's a bunch of different cool things you can work there. Let's see, go here, you can have like a castle element. They have full blueprints. It's fairly large. You can do palisades. So if you wanted to add something like that, you can rotate them here. So for me, if I was going to add them to the side here, you could do something like that. You can change the size. Once you've added them, you can click on the arrow and still change the size, rotate them around. Let's see, going back to the stamps, another thing I like to add in are like fires. So you can go up here and click fire, and it will give you different fires that you can add in. This is a pretty good looking one right here. Just kind of add fires to. Then once you do that, of course, if you want to really get into it, you can go back, click on smoke, and there's some black smoke. You can add it kind of on top, and what you would do there is do the selection, make it maybe a little bit bigger, get it positioned right, change the opacity just a little bit, do the same with the other, kind of change the size, the opacity. That way it's got some smoke, it's not just bright fire hanging out there. Another stamp you can add in is if you wanted to come in, you can go and, let's see, I think they had weaponry and tools. Make sure you clear out your search bar, it won't show you anything. You can kind of go in and add like some old crossbows and swords and broken armor and stuff like that around. Make it look like something's happened before. Again, it has several different variations that you can use. Swords, axes, you just got to click on them. Make sure you keep the sizes kind of relative to your terrain and your map and your scale. Go back in there, let's see, snow and ice, what can you do? They have snowy walls you can use, so if you wanted to kind of create, for me it would be kind of the beginning of a castle. Oh, we can do that. You would have to just kind of start piecing it together. So once you kind of get everything pieced together, now here for some reason the opacity is still, and then go here, you can change that so it stands out a little bit more. Click there. If you want to duplicate it, now you have a duplicate, you don't have to go click and dragging. So you have kind of a start to one there, and then another thing you can do is go back, see if it's got, you have icy stairs, you can click on those to kind of add to it. Go back over here, see if they have like a snowy roof. Let's see, snowy slate roofs. And so they have some that are, let's see, let's do this. You can go and select different style of roofs. So like right here, because I don't want just that square one, I could go here, select this, change the size down a little bit. Add kind of towers to it. Now that sticks out because there's no snow on it, so what you could do is come back here, click on snow, and they'll actually, they should have a snow like fall. There we go. So you can take this, change the size. So looks like we got some snowfall on it. Go back over there. Let's see. There's several things. I mean, like the amount of things they have in here is kind of crazy. What all you can do if you wanted to. You have fallen snow trees you can grab. So if you wanted to, again, keep the scale, you can do that. Now here, because we added it last, it's putting it over the top of the last trees. But what you can do is you can click there and then change the layer, and it will put it under. So I went down a layer, so it's on the bottom. And that means it will no longer be sticking out over the stuff we already had. Let's see. So again, now that we've changed the layer, it automatically keeps it on that layer until you change it back. So we have it there, and you can add all sorts of things around. So that's a very quick tutorial. Now there's a lot of different stuff. You can add like layers of ground. You can go to terrain. Let's see. They have cliffs, caves, stone walls, stones you can add. So we could come in and add larger stones if we wanted to. You can add shadows and stuff to it. So there's a lot of different things you can do with this. It's really just a matter of how much time you have and want to put into it. The next thing that I need to figure out, though, is how I can use these to add or print out on a large scale and have and actually play it as a battle map. So that's kind of my next step. So here, just to kind of end up, we're going to end with some cliffs. Make it a little larger here. So here now it looks like the road is coming up, and there's some maybe some start of cliffs there. We'll do this one here. Well, that's not what we do. We got to rotate it around. Click the arrow here. You can just do the rotate. I'm going to try to kind of keep it along the line of that road. And it kind of looks like we're setting up on top of it with the castle there. So yeah. So you can play around with that. Again, it's as much as you want to do, as much as time and effort you want to put into it. This is a pretty basic one. Let's see. I'm not going to save that one, but there's a couple other ones that I've done. This one where it looks kind of like the cobblestone road is going through a large old statue hand with some trees. So you've done something like that. You can add vines. Here's a little bit more detail where I added some like cliffs, more like hills alongside the road, added some vines and stuff. This one was fairly quick, fairly simple. Let's see what else we can do. This is one I did with a kind of an attack from the ocean. So they're through, you add this large tentacle there. There's already some palisades there, cliffs, there's a tower, so you can add like little broken statues, fallen trees. If you look, there's little skulls and skeletons around. So you really can do a lot of stuff with this if you sit down and play with it. But yeah, so if this has been informative or interesting for you, drop a like and a comment. If there's something you want to see or something you want to explain maybe a little bit better and I know how to do it, I'd love to do it in another video. So again, like, subscribe, drop a comment, and we will see you in the next one. Thanks so much for watching.